this video, I will continue to work on the data reduction process. So in the previous one, we just talked about the master step. Now we'll continue with the next steps. So I'm still working with the version 5.1 of Demetra with the LP600 and only for the only with the demonstration images because I have no spectroscope connected to my computer. Okay, so I go back to the other window where we left the last time. We have processed the master step, okay, and the next one is the pre-process. So the pre-process consists in take all the raw images and make the dark correction, so the dark subtractions, the offset subtractions, and the flat correction. Okay, so in this case it takes all the raw images and the master images, and it uses the master images to correct, so master bias offset, master dark and master flat, to correct the raw images from the initial defects. Okay, so again you can look at your first image. For instance, this one, I can see my Vega image. I'm still working with the Vega observation, of course, so I can extend the image across the screen. So I see the Vega image, and I can run this image. This is important in this case that I've clicked only on this run button. In this case, each image, so I have a series of, I think, 7 images here. Okay, so I can move across these images. I can check that also by looking at the object image. So I've been to tab, image tab, and look at the object, and I see here that I have 7 images. Okay, so when I go back to the data reduction tab, I can see that I can move across this series of images, and when I do that, I can do it image per image. Okay, so I've taken the second, now the third one, so I can look at the third image, and I can run it, and I can look at the result. Okay, but in this case, because it's quite boring to do it image per image, you can also run the series of image here with this button, and in this case it will make all the 7 images at one time in one click. Okay, so in this case you have made all the images. And again, you can look at the image before and look at the image after. Okay. By the way, per process, perhaps it's not very visible what is the result of the effect. But if I look at that, and if I take a rectangle here and I change the thresholds, I can see the effect in my image. Okay, in this case, I see that the initial image is very noisy. Okay, so I can change the threshold here. So there is a lot of noise, and after the processing, you can see that there is much less noise in the spectrum area. Okay, and you can also see with the indication here on the right bottom corner, you can see the level below the screen, the mouse, and below the cursor, and the value. You can see the value is very close to 0. So okay, so we have removed all the offset of the dark effect and so on. So we have something very close to 0, and we have something very useful for the signal. And in this case, you can see in the left part that we have still some noise. This is just because the flat images have a very low level in the blue part of the spectrum, and this is a pity, but we would love to have very high temperature lamps as high as stars in order to have much more signal, but this is not the case. So it means that in this very far blue part of the spectrum, the image is very noisy, and of course the spectrum will be very noisy because of that. Okay, so but this is a normal behavior with an LP system. Okay. By the way, you see here that we can process the images, the object images, but we can also process the calibration images exactly in the same way. So I can click on the run series, okay, and see my initial image here. I can change the level. I can see all the lines. okay, and I can see the result here. Well, it's the difference is not that huge, okay. In fact, you can see almost the same thing, because again, the calibration image has a very high signal to noise ratio, so this effect is not the effect of the pre-processing is not that huge. But we prefer to do it because we have the process, it's easy to do, and then we'll process the calibration images exactly in the same way as the object images. Okay, so that's it for today. We'll continue in the next video with the geometry and next steps.